going to read two stories. I'm going to read Mr Forgetful and Mr Lazy. Mr Forgetful. It was one of those beautiful summer mornings that everybody likes to see. In Forget-Me-Not Cottage, the owner was fast asleep. Mr Forgetful, he was having a dream. Then the sun streamed through the window and woke up Mr Forgetful. Oh, he yawned and stretched his arms and tried to remember what he'd been dreaming about. But of course he couldn't, because Mr Forgetful can't remember anything at all, ever. Mr Forgetful got out of bed and went to wash his face. But he'd forgotten where the bathroom was in his house. And you know what he did? He walked into the wardrobe. Silly me, he giggled to himself. Eventually, of course, Mr Forgetful found the bathroom and washed his face. He even remembered to clean his teeth. And then he went downstairs to make himself some breakfast. He toasted some bread, but of course he forgot about it and it was burnt. He boiled himself an egg, but of course he forgot about it and it was hard-boiled. Mr Forgetful had burnt toast and hard-boiled eggs for breakfast every day. It was such a lovely day that for Mr Forgetful to decide to walk down... it was such a lovely day, Mr Forgetful decided to walk down to the village and buy a stamp for a letter he'd written 3 weeks ago. He'd forgotten to post. Off he set. And did he remember to shut the door of Forget-Me-Not Cottage behind him? Of course he didn't. Good morning, Mr Forgetful, said Mrs Parcel in the village post office. What can I do for you this fine morning? I'd like, I've forgotten, he said. A stamp, suggested Mrs Parcel, looking at the letter Mr Forgetful was carrying. Yes, a stamp. That's what it was I was trying to remember, not to forget, said Mr Forgetful. Mrs Parcel smiled. She was used to Mr Forgetful. Mr Forgetful had some more shopping to do, but could he remember what it was he was supposed to remember not to forget to shop for? Of course he couldn't, so he decided to go home. On his way, he met the village policeman going the other way. Morning, Mr Forgetful, said the village policeman. Will you give Farmer Fields a message from me on your way home, please? Farmer Fields has a farm not very far from Forget-Me-Not Cottage. Tell him there's a sheep loose in the lane, said the policeman. Poor Mr Forgetful. He'd never had a message to remember in his life before. There's a sheep loose in the lane, he said to himself, trying to remember the message as he hurried along. There's a sheep loose in the lane. 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 Mr Forgetful repeated the message over and over to himself. There's a sheep loose in the lane. Eventually, he arrived at the farm and found Farmer Fields. Mr Fields, he said, there's a goose asleep in the rain. Farmer Fields couldn't believe his ears. There's a goose asleep in the rain, he repeated Farmer Field slowly. But I don't have any geese, and anyway, it isn't raining. Are you sure that's the message? Poor Mr Forgetful, he got it all wrong, and he couldn't remember how to get it all right. He simply couldn't remember at all. So off he went home. Poor Mr Forgetful. Mr Forgetful walked away from Farmer Field's farm feeling sorry for himself. He was so busy feeling sorry for himself that he didn't see there was a sheep loose in the lane. He bumped into it and fell over. Bother, said Mr Forgetful. Bah, said the sheep. How silly letting a sheep loose in the lane, thought Mr Forgetful. And then he remembered. He remembered the message. He jumped up and ran back to the lane, ran back along the lane to the farm as fast as he could. Mr Fields, Mr Fields, he called as he ran into the farmyard. Mr Fields, there's a goose asleep in the rain. He'd forgotten again. Mr Fields scratched his head. Come with me. Come on, cried Mr Forgetful, and pulled Farmer Fields back along the lane until they came to the sheep that was loose. There it is, cried Mr Forgetful, pointing. A goose. And then he stopped. Oh dear, he said. That's not a goose. That's a sheep. And he blushed. I think, smiled Farmer Field, that you're the goose. He chuckled, and Mr Forgetful giggled, and Farmer Fields laughed, and even the sheep started to laugh. It was so funny. Later that day, Mr Forgetful sat down in his favourite armchair in Forget-Me-Not Cottage to think about what a funny day it had been. But do you know something? He tried and he tried, but try as he would, he simply couldn't remember anything that had happened. Oh, Mr Forgetful. Mr Forgetful. So now we're going to read a different book, Mr Lazy. Mr Lazy lives in Sleepyland, which is a very lazy looking and sleepy like place. The birds in Sleepyland fly so slowly that sometimes they just fall out of the sky. The grass takes so long to grow, it only needs cutting once a year. Even the trees are lazy looking and sleepy like. And do you know what time everybody gets up in Sleepyland? The answer is they don't get up in the morning, they get up in the afternoon. And incidentally, that's why a Sleepyland clock looks like. That's what a Sleepyland clock looks like. Everything takes so long, there's only time for 4 hours in a day. Anyway, the story starts with Mr Lazy being fast asleep in bed. In Sleepyland, they call being in Sleepyland, they call that being slow asleep. He spends rather a lot of time in bed. It's his favourite place to be. He opened his eyes and yawned again and went back to sleep. Later, Mr. Lazy opened his eyes again, yawned again, and went back to sleep again. Much later, Mr. Lazy got up and went to make his breakfast. We say breakfast, although really it wasn't. It was tea time. He put the kettle on to make some tea. Kettles take 2 hours to boil in Sleepyland. Then he toasted a slice of bread. Bread takes 3 hours to go brown in Sleepyland. Toast never gets burnt there. While he was waiting for his kettle to boil and his bread to toast, Mr. Lazy went into the garden of Yawn Cottage, which is where he lives. He sat down in a chair, and you can probably guess what happened next. That's right, he yawned and yawned again and went to sleep. Suddenly, he woke up with a jump, which is something that doesn't happen very often to Mr. Lazy. And the reason he woke up with a jump was because of a noise. "Wake up!" said the noise. "Wake up, wake up, wake up!" There were 2 men standing in front of him. Here they are. "I'm Mr. Busy," said one of the men. "I'm Mr. Bustle," said the other. "Come along now," said Mr. Bustle brusquely. "We can't have you sleeping all day," added Mr. Busy, bustling Mr. Lazy to his feet. "But who are you?" asked Mr. Lazy. "We're Bustle and Busy," they replied. "Oh," said Mr. Lazy. "Come along now," said Mr. Busy. "We haven't got all day." "But," said Mr. Lazy. "No time for buts," said Mr. Bustle. "Or ifs," added Mr. Bustle. "There's the wood to chop, there's the beds to make, and the floors to clean, and the coal to get, and the windows to polish, and the plates to wash, and the furniture to dust, and the grass to cut, and the hedges to clip, and the food to cook, and the clothes to mend," added Mr. Busy. "Oh dear," groaned Mr. Lazy in a daze. "The wood to clean, the beds to get, the floors to cut, the coal to cook, the windows to make, and the plates to mend, and the furniture to chop, and the grass to wash, and the hedges to dust, and the clothes to clip." He got it all completely wrong. He was in such a daze. Mr. Bustle and Busy set Mr. Lazy to work, chopping and making and cleaning and getting and polishing and washing and dusting and cutting and clipping and cooking and mending, not to mention all the fetching and the carrying. Poor Mr. Lazy. "Now," they said when he'd finished, "it's time for a walk." And off they set on the longest walk Mr. Lazy had ever been on. Mr. Lazy is one of those people who never walks when he has a chance of sitting down, and never sits down when he has a chance of lying down. But this day he had no choice. They made him walk for miles and miles and miles, until he felt his legs must be worn right down to his body. Poor Mr. Lazy. When they arrived back at Yawn Cottage, Mr. Busy said, "Right, now for a run." "Oh no," groaned Mr. Lazy. "When I blow the whistle," said Mr. Bustle, producing the whistle, "you have to start running. As fast as you can," added Mr. Busy. Mr. Lazy groaned a deep groan and closed his eyes. Mr. Bustle put the whistle to his lips. Whee! Whistled the whistle. Whee! Went the whistle. Mr. Lazy, poor Mr. Lazy, started to run. But his legs weren't getting him anywhere. He opened his eyes to look down to see why. The reason his legs weren't getting him anywhere was because he was sitting on a chair in the garden. And there was no sign of Mr. Busy and Mr. Bustle. It had been a terrible dream. And the whistle was the whistle of the kettle boiling in the kitchen. Mr. Lazy heaved a sigh of relief, and then he went into the kitchen and sat down to have his breakfast and to think about his dream. But you know what happened next, don't you? Wake up, Mr. Lazy! Wake up, wake up, wake up!